Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to discuss about the last month preparation strategy for IIT JAM 2024 exam. It is very important to all aspirants and I think this video will be very helpful to all of you. So let's start. So first I'm going to give some idea about some important topics, just basic overview. Okay, so important topics. So let's see the syllabus. So this one is the syllabus. So okay. So if you can see, this is very important that here real analysis. Okay. So the three sections in the syllabus are one is real analysis, one is multivariable calculus and differential equations, and linear algebra and algebra. Okay. So that is basically the part of algebra. So for IIT JAM exam, two topics are very important. One is sequence and series of real numbers. I'm assuming power series in between in this topic. So sequence and series of real numbers. It's a very important. Okay. So you should know the convergence, the notion of convergence, bounded sequence, idea of Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem, convergence idea of series, types of test is conditions, and what is the meaning of conditional convergence and absolute convergence, what is its relation, Abel's test, Dirichlet test, all these type of notions you should understand very well and you should know very well. Okay, and the second one is power series. Power series is also very important. You should know what is the idea, how to find the radius of convergence, what should be the notion of term-wise differentiation and term-wise integration, because this is very important where almost every year some question comes from this topic in NAT section as well as in MCQ sections. Okay, so it is not just radius of convergence, you should know the term-wise differentiation and term-wise integration of notion of power series, when you can do that, when you can't do Abel's theorem, and that's all. Okay, so sequence and series of real numbers is the most important topics, and you can assume that almost at least 15 marks will definitely come from this topic. Okay, sequence and series of real numbers. The second important thing is that linear algebra. In linear algebra, matrices is a different part. You should know the system of linear equations very well. It is very important. Idea of rank nullity theorem, basis, dimensions, linear transformation, its matrix representation, and base change matrix idea, null space, range space. That's all stuff. Okay, so that is very important. So linear algebra, and also the notion of diagonalization, eigenvalue, eigenvectors, everything, and the special type of matrix and its property, like what is the property of real symmetric matrix. Okay, so real symmetric matrix always has real eigenvalue. This type of orthogonal matrix, eigenvalue is always unit modulus. Okay, all important type of matrix, self-adjoint matrix, unitary matrix, what is its properties. Okay, all these things. So this is very important, and you should always expect 15 to 20 marks comes from this linear algebra section. So the most important part, out of 100, almost 40% marks comes from these two topics. So this is a very important topics. Okay, now come to the other section, which is not so huge, I mean, which is not so much contributing the marks like these two topics, but that is also important, like integral calculus. Okay, so integral calculus is very important. The notion of double integral, triple integral, change of order of this integration. Okay, some idea of surface area and volume computing. Okay, so I can assure you that you you need not to be worried about that. There are some difficult type of problems you can see that usually comes in gate level, but usually jam level problems are not too hard. Okay, it might maybe one or two problem comes in integral calculus which is difficult, but if you know the basic, if you see the previous year question papers of jam, then you can see that if you know the basic idea, basic double integration, how to compute it, basic triple integration, its formulas, and notion of change of order, calculating surface area, volume area, just formula based. So mostly it is formula based. And so one important thing that you should know the draw, how the looks like how a paraboloid looks like, how a ellipsoid looks like, what is its equation. In case of 2D, what is parabola, hyperbola, ellipse, and how to draw the equations. Because if you can draw the equations and if you can see the space how it looks like, then it is easier to compute. Okay, because sometimes if you directly compute you will get a wrong result. Okay, because whenever you are, it is asking about finding the volume, you, it may happen that you are just directly integrating by just formula, but you will get a wrong answer. Because in case of volume, volume is always positive. So even if some parts contributing negative in the integral, you have to take it in positive sense. Okay, so to understand that thing, you should know how to draw the picture. Because if you draw the picture, then you can see that how to compute it. Okay, so like just to give you some idea, if in case of 2D, suppose if you see the graph of sin x, if I ask you the area under the graph of sin x in 0 to 2 pi, if you just directly integrate 0 to 2 pi, okay, what will you get? 0 to 2 pi, if you directly compute, you will get 0. But the area under the curve is not 0, because there is some part which gives you positive integral and some parts gives you negative integral. If you directly compute, then it will vanish, so you will get 0. But area under the curve is not 0, it is doubles of the integral between 0 to pi. So that is what I am saying. Okay, so it is not just use directly formula. Sometimes you can directly use the formula and you will get the result, but you should know how to draw the curve at least. Okay, how to draw the curve, how to draw the picture, and what is the important equations and that stuff. It is not the case that you have to compute some difficult problems. Okay, the problems will be straightforward, but maybe some twist in there. Okay, so this is also a very important part, integral calculus. Then differential equation. Differential equation is a part where you should know something related to existence uniqueness theorem. That is not mentioned in the syllabus, but you should know, because sometimes the question comes from this. So existence uniqueness theorem. Okay, and all the other things are straightforward. Like you, orthogonal trajectory is very important. Every year one problem always comes from this topic. And the other type of, I mean, solution based problem like homogeneous differential equation, Cauchy-Euler equation, separation of variable, okay, linear differential equation, and other things. Okay, exact differential equation, how to compute integrating factor and that stuff. So these all are very important. Okay, and in OD mostly the question comes from solution based. So sometimes it may happen that you have to find out some solution, then they ask you that the solution is unbounded in some neighborhood, the solution maybe goes to some finite value or not, this type of question, but ultimately you have to solve. So if you solve that OD, then you can directly conclude the options. And in NAT sections, you just you are given a OD and there is some initial condition, and you may have to find the value of that y at some point, say 3 or 0.5 or something like that. Okay, so that is, so in ODE section is mostly it is computational. So if you compute, if you solve that ODE, then you can easily conclude the options. Okay, so that is not so difficult topic, so it's a straightforward and scoring zone. So you should do very well these parts. Okay, integral calculus and differential equation, these two parts are very scoring zone. Okay, so because it's not so difficult, except maybe one or two problems comes difficult, but almost all the problems will be straightforward. So this is scoring zone. Okay, now come to the part functions of 2 and 3 variable. Okay, so here you should know the definition of differentiability continuity notion in 2 variables. Okay, but the notion of partial derivative and directional derivative. Sometimes they ask you to compute directional derivative in direction of some vector. Okay, and one very important thing is the Lagrange multiplier to compute the maximum minima of some function in 2 variable. Okay, that's all. that is very important here. So function of 2 variable and 3 variable is a small topic, mm, but straightforward, whether the function is differentiable, to compute the partial derivative, or sometimes the directional derivative. They will give you some function and they will ask you that this is continuous at this, this is differentiable at this is continuous but not differentiable, something like that. Or maybe ask you them directional derivative exists in all direction but it's not differentiable. So this kind of thing always happens. Okay, so and also in integral calculus, not only change of order, I forgot that, just you should know that how to change a variable in two variables. Okay, in one variable we can directly change the variable, but in case of two variable, when you change the variable, there is some, you need to compute determinant of some matrix. Okay, that is called Jacobian. So that plays a crucial role. So you should know the how to change the variable. Okay, not just changing the order, that is also important. Okay, now come to the part function of one variable. In function of one variable, so limit, continuity, the notion of differentiability, idea of Taylor's theorem. Okay, so Taylor series expansion is very important, because sometimes in the case of series of real number in NAT section, they ask you to compute the sum of series. So to find the sum of series, you need to use some expansion of some important series like e to the x, log 1 plus x, sin x, tan x, cos x, sin inverse x, cos inverse x, tan inverse x. Okay, so you should know the Taylor series expansion of this important series. Okay, and maxima minima notion, all the other things, Rolle's theorem, mean value theorem, that is obvious. So L'Hospital rule to use the find computing limit and so on. And in the case of Riemann integration, it's a very same important, I mean it's not so important topic, but the thing is that if you haven't studied yet the Riemann integration topic, you can skip that, because maximum one or two problems can come. So usually in 2022 as well as 2023, only one problem comes. Okay, so that you can do. And see, if you have time, you can do some problems related to beta gamma function, because sometimes it is used to compute some problems in intersection. And also fundamental theorem of calculus, mainly Leibniz rule is very important. So that you can do. So in particular in Riemann integration topic, it is enough to know just when a function is Riemann integrable, what is the criteria. The discontinuous function may not be Riemann integrable, but what is the type of discontinuities? If you have, then you can say that this is Riemann integrable. Other cases it may not. So that stuff, if you know, then it's enough. And the last section, that is mainly abstract algebra. In that part is a group theory. So it is not so important topic, because maximum 8 to 10 marks come. But what I can say, if you haven't studied well the group theory, at least know the formula based thing, that number of generators of a cyclic group, number of particular elements, number of particular order elements, say order 4 elements in S5. Okay, that stuff. Number of elements conjugate in S5, number of elements commutes with some particular element in Sn, that stuff. Okay, so mostly computational problem. You can see the previous year question papers and this type of question comes. Okay, a number of homomorphisms from some easy group to easy group. So usually it will not come some difficult group. So usually it comes from easy group to easy group, say S3 to Z6, say D3 to K4, something like that. So what I can say, that sequence series of real numbers and linear algebra, most important topic. Then in applied section, integral calculus and differential equations are scoring zones. And after that, function of one variable, function of two variable, that stuff, that is also important to get very good marks. And finally group theory. Okay, so group theory, mostly almost 60% problems, I mean if out of 10 marks, if the 10 marks, 6 marks problem are directly straightforward, maybe one or two problems comes difficult. So if you can score 6 marks, that is very good. So, and 6 marks problems are straightforward, means the computation based problem. Okay, so that is what I am saying. Now come to the section that what should you do in this time. Okay, so first important thing is that revision. This is very important. Okay, because practice maximum perfect, you know. So you should revise all the topics what you have studied, and you should not start any new topics now because only 1 month are almost left. So you should not start any new topic. You can just do something related to some small topics you have left. You can just do that, but you should not study. Say you have not studied group theory yet, you should not start group theory. Or say you haven't studied function of several variables yet, so you should not study from the beginning of this topic. Okay, because that will not be helpful now, because you just only 1 month left. You should focus whatever you have done in the last few months. Okay, so revision very well. Okay, do revision very well. That is very important for your exam. Number 2, attempt attempting mock tests. Okay, so attempting mock tests is very important. Now many students ask me that how frequently. At least weekly. Okay, weekly mock test you should give, and you can buy any renowned coaching institutes test series. There's available on Academy, Deeps Academy, Career Endeavor, many other coaching institutes. So you can just buy any of them, and then you should practice. So the attempting mock test is just doing practice. Okay, so so the one important thing here during the attempting the mock test. Okay, so seriously attempt mock test. Okay, so seriously attempting mean you should focus that I will attempt whole the 3 hours. You should think that this is actually your jam exam, what you have to do. So ready before, I mean, when you are going to give the mock test, ready at least before 15 minutes, and start. If you are giving the mock test in your mobile or laptop, open that and sit down on your seat, take your seat, and seriously attempt the paper throughout throughout the 3 hours. You should not attempt, say, I will give 1 hour, then I take some break, and then I will give 1 hour. That's not the case. Okay, that will not be helpful, because you are practicing the same to get some idea of the environment what you are going to get during your actual exam. Okay, so seriously attempt the mock test. It's very important. So attempting mock test is very important. Now the second thing is analyze analyze your paper. Okay, so after attempting mock test, when you get your score, then analyze the whole paper, that what kind of problems you can't solve, what type of problems you have solved but did some silly mistakes or did some mistakes, and what type of problems you are already solved and do it correctly. Analyze the whole paper, not only just the problems you can't solve, you did not solve, and just attempt. Not that. You should see all the questions very properly. Even if you have correctly solved during the exam, then also you should focus that problems. So analyze your paper very well, and mark your weak zone. Okay, that in what type of sections you can't perform well in the exam. Mark your weak zone, note down your weak zone, and then work hard on that topic. Okay, so maybe say you are doing well in linear algebra, but somehow you can't do well in group theory, then you should focus on that. Okay, so like that. So analyze your whole paper and mark your weak zone, and then work hard on that topic, that what kind of problems you did the mistake. Okay, and note down the problems you are unable to solve. Okay, try to solve after the exam. If you can't solve, you can ask your friends or teachers or any senior to solve it. Okay, but you should solve all the problems. Okay, then solving PYQs. Solving PYQs is very important. Even if you have solved throughout the year, I will ask you again to revise all the PYQs, because you can see the repeated questions in many years or the completely same type of problems many years. So solving PYQs is very very important. And those, if you haven't solved the PYQs yet, then definitely solve PYQs first. Before attempting the mock test, you can also solve, or you can give the mock test as well as solving PYQs regularly. Okay, but solving PYQs is, I mean, it's a must. You should solve it, which is very very important. Okay, then what I have already tell, that do revisions very well. Okay, do revisions very well. Give mock tests weekly. Analyze your paper, mark your weak zone. Okay, note down the problems you can't solve during the exam. Ask your seniors or friends or teachers to and get the solution, and then focus on the solution and understand that what did you mistake, what kind of concepts you don't have, so that you did not solve during that exam. Okay, so do that. And solving PYQs is very very important. And the one of the very very important thing to get a very good rank, that is reducing silly mistakes. Okay, so I can assure you that silly mistakes is actually part of exam, of competitive exam, because you don't have lots of time. You have to attempt 60 problems within just 3 hours. You have just 3 minutes per every question, but there are lots of huge lengthy problems like solving ODE, solving multiple integral, that stuff. So that takes more time. So that is what I'm saying. So it may happen that you are doing silly mistakes. I also did almost 8 marks silly mistakes in JAM 2023. So I even can't reduce my silly mistake. I mean, I can reduce because before that, when I attempted MTBs, I usually keep silly, I mean, do silly mistakes of 12, 14 marks, and that reduced to 6 to 8 marks in JAM. That is actually good. But you should reduce silly mistakes. You can't make it zero because it is part of exam, but you should reduce it. It is very very important for good rankers. Okay, very very important for good rankers who are going to give. Okay, now so reducing silly mistakes is very very important. Now, one important thing, how to attempt MTP, mock test paper. Okay, how to attempt mock test paper. So every day is new day. Okay, every day whenever you are going to attempt a new paper, you should forget everything about you. That you should not think that in the last mock test paper I scored 60 or 65. That means I should definitely score more than that, or at least same in this mock test paper. Not like that. You should not think anything. You should forget everything about you and focus on the paper. Okay, why I am saying that? Because you can't predict what is going to be the paper. Paper may be easier, paper may be difficult. Suppose the paper is going to be difficult. Okay, suppose the paper is difficult, and maybe 50 marks is a very very good score. Maybe 50 marks is enough to get under 10. But in the when you are attempting the paper, you can see that you can't solve this type of problems, and you feel that, oh, that means I can't perform well in this exam. That is definitely a bad thing, because you don't know, the paper may be very very easy, and in that case 90 marks is enough to get under 10. Paper may be very very difficult, then 50 marks is enough to get under 10. So you can't predict, right? So it will not be same, the all the mock test paper or all the test papers or all the question papers may not be same. You can see the 2020 paper and as well as 2022 paper, it's completely different. So that is why you should forget everything about previous MTPs or previous test papers. Okay, you should focus only on that paper you are going to give. Okay, that is very important, and also it is important during your jam exam also. So when you are going to attempt jam exam, you should forget everything what you did throughout the year, what you have done throughout the, I mean, attempting the mock test. You should forget everything, and it's a new day, right? There is nothing, I mean, there is nothing. Maybe the paper is difficult, maybe the paper is easier. So you should completely focus on that paper. Okay, it is very important. Okay, so from today onwards, when you are going to give MTPs, follow these rules, which is very important, because otherwise you will definitely I mean get a problem during your jam exam, because you can't predict what is going to happen in that exam. So you should do it very carefully. Okay, so this is a very important thing you should do when you are attempting the paper. Okay, okay, number two, number so one thing is that forget all previous thing. Okay, so forget all the previous thing. Second is that you should attempt the paper and analyze. During attempting the paper, you should analyze that what is your performance. Okay, because you know there are some problems, if you answer it, you definitely know that these answers are correct, right? So that's why you should think in that way, and you should do step by step. So when you are started, I mean, say you are starting, going to give and start a mock test paper, you should not think that I will score 60. You should not think. What you have to do, say first your target to clearing cutoff, that means try to get at least 25. That is enough to clear the cutoff. Okay, so first your motivation is to cross 25 marks, then your motivation is to cross 35 marks, then your motivation is to cross 45 marks, and so on, then 55, then 65, and so on. This should be the strategy. Even if you perform regularly very well, you should not think that I will score 65 from the beginning, because if the paper is difficult, maybe 45 you can score and you will get under 10. It may happen, because last year in GATE exam also 50.33 is the AIR 1 marks. So it may happen, right? It's not a joke. Or also if you see 2020 JAM paper, 98.67 is the AIR 1 marks. So it depends. It depends on paper. You can't predict. So that's why you should do step by step. Your first focus, try to get at least 25 marks, then 35, then 45, and so on. Then definitely it will not create any pressure, because step by step if you are doing that, then you can understand. So first when you do 25 marks and getting 25, you should know, okay, that means I am jam qualified. I'm so happy because I will get a scorecard. When you are getting 35 plus, you should know, okay, now I am eligible for get at least one in IT. Then when you are getting 45 marks, then you can assure, okay, now I can get at least one IIT. Then when you are crossing 55, you should understand, okay, that now I can get old IITs, maybe the top IITs under, maybe my rank is under 250 or 3. Now when you getting 65 plus marks, you can assure that you can understand that, okay, now I am under 100 rank. Now if you score 75 plus, you can understand, now I am under 20 or 15. So in this way, you should analyze in this way. You should not focus that I will score 60 or 65 or something like that. Okay, so forget everything. Start new day, and step by step you should attempt the paper. So this is very important when you are going to attempt. Okay. Now the last thing I'm going to tell, that is, it's completely your choice, but my suggestion that MCQ, do MSQ in last. Otherwise you can start with NAT, you can start with MCQ, Okay, but do MSQ in last. It is very very important. So what I do, I also did the same thing throughout whenever I am attempting the MTPs, and also I did the same thing in JAM exam. So MCQ 1, then MCQ 2, then NAT 1, then NAT 2, then I did MSQ. So okay, and also the very important thing, suppose you are attempting MCQ 1, okay, somehow you can't solve 2 or 3 problems in the beginning, okay, you should not be afraid, or you should not be worried at that time. Skip the whole section and go to NAT. Skip the whole section and go to NAT, because it may happen that MCQ parts for that particular paper comes difficult. So you should completely move on to NAT and solve that. You can see that in NAT section you will find easy problems and you can solve. That you should do, because in starting if you feel difficulty, then the exam is going to be bad. So you should not do that. You should feel that if the problem is difficult to me, since I am preparing throughout the whole year, that means this problem is difficult to everyone. Okay, you should not, I always tell one thing, that you should not be less confident as well as you should not be overconfident. Less confidence is very bad thing, as well as overconfidence is also very bad thing. So you should not think that even I can solve the problem, that means no one can solve the problem. Also, you should not think that okay, I can solve the problem, that means I am out of that exam. That is not the case. You can solve other problems, and so that you can get the good marks. So if something is happened, say if you are getting difficulty, if you can't solve 2 or 3 problems continuously in MCQ section, after attempting, skip the whole part and go to another section and try to solve that. Definitely you can do that. Okay, that is what I am saying. So in this way, if you attempt and if you practice whole of the things throughout the 1 month, I think it is definitely so much helpful to all of you. Okay, I hope this video will be very very helpful to all of you. If you have any question, then you can ask me. I've already given the number, and also you can ask in the comment section so that I can help you. Okay, but definitely follow these rules during attempt the paper, and definitely practice the questions very well and analyze your performance, and also do the revision all the topics, and in your work hard more and work more on your weak zones. Okay, that is very very important, and I wish you all the best for your upcoming exam JAM 2024. I will definitely make a video about the exam day, or what should you do on that day particularly after some days. But now, so I want to wish you a happy new year, and I hope that the new year is going to be more happy if you get a good IIT. So all the best. Okay, thank you. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, thank you.